Okay, this video is on how to graph linear inequalities. And because it is a video, you can pause it whenever you need to, or you can rewind. Don't feel like you need to keep up with everything because I might be writing a little fast since I'm just talking to myself. Okay, when we graph these, anytime it's got a less than or greater than, we're going to have open circles and dashed lines. And if we have a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, it's going to have a solid line with closed circles. So now that we know that, we're going to start graphing some of these. So on the first one, it's a greater than, so I know it's going to have open circles. And when I go to graph, because it's in slope-intercept form, I'm going to start with the y-intercept, which is at -2. And now I'm going to use my slope to find more points. So when I do that, I'm going to go up 3 and right 4. And then I can go up 3 again and right 4. Or I could always go down 3 and left 4. That would work as well. But when I'm done, I'm going to connect them with a dashed line. Now that I have this, now I want to shade it, because when it was an equal sign, that just meant everything up to the line and just on the line. But now with an inequality, it's everything on one side of the line. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a test point. And the easiest test point to use is the point 0, 0, because we're going to have to plug this point in, and 0 is always easy to plug in. So I'm going to plug in a 0 for x and a 0 for y. So I get 0 equals, or 0 is greater than 3/4 times 0 minus 2. Well, 3/4 times 0 is just 0. So I get 0 is greater than -2, which is true. Okay. So 0, 0 is on this side. So that means since 0, 0 is true, it's on the true side. That means the other side is the false side. And we are only going to shade the true side. So we're not shading where the test point is. We're shading the side that is true. All right, let's try this again on number 2. Now on number 2, it's a less than or equal to. So now we're going to have a solid line or closed circles. So first we're going to start at the y-intercept, which is right here. And now we're going to do our slope to find more points, down to right 1 or up to left 1. And we're going to connect these with a solid line. So now let's pick a test point. So our test point is 0, 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for x and 0 for y. And so I get 0 is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. Oh, just kidding. Put the inequality in the wrong way. So I have 0 is less than or equal to 4. Okay, that is true. Okay, that means 0, 0 is on the true side, and the other side is the false side, and I want to shade the true side. So I'm going to shade over here. Oops, didn't mean to make it jump that fast. Okay, now let's look at the next one, number 3. Number 3 is a less than, so it's going to have open circles. The y-intercept is 0, so we're going to start right here. We're going to go down 2 and right 3, or up 2 and left 3. And then we can connect the points with a dashed line. Now on this one, I can't check with 0, 0, because 0, 0 is on the line, so that's not helpful. So now I want to pick any other point that is not on the line, and you just kind of have to look at the graph and see, but as I'm looking at it, 1, 1 right here seems very easy to check. So let's try that. 1 is less than -2/3 times 1. So 1 is less than -2/3. Is 1 less than a negative number? It most certainly is not. So that means this point is on the false side, which means this side is the true side. And we always shade the side that is true. Not necessarily where the test point is, the side that is true. Okay, let's see if we can graph the next ones. This one, y equals -3. Now, if you don't remember, or y is greater than or equal to -3. If you don't remember what that line looks like, think about this. Where is y -3? Well, 0, -3. Here's a point. How about 4, -3? Here's a point, -5, -3. 7, -3. I can keep picking points, but they're all going to form this line right here. Do you have to put those points each time? Absolutely not. But I wanted to show you how every time you pick one of those points, they're going to line up there. Okay, let's do our test point. So when we test it, put in 0 for x and y. Well, I only have a y, so I get 0 is greater than -3. Is that true? It is. So 0, 0 is on the true side, and this is the false side. and we're only going to shade the true side. Now, writing true and false, as a reminder, is not part of the graph, but I'm just doing that so you have a guide. Okay, we got open circles here and dashed lines. If y equals a number is horizontal, then x equals a number has got to be vertical. And if you think about it, here's the point. Whoops, get open circles. Here's the point 4, 0, and 4, 4, and 4, -3. Every time x is 4, it's going to line up in a vertical line. So if I test it and I put in 0 for x and 0 for y, or just 0 for x, is 0 less than 4? It is. So this is the true side because it's true here. That means it's false here, and I'm going to shade the true side. Over here on number 6, well, once you realize it's a vertical line, I don't need you to write points. I was just doing that so that you can understand what the line looks like. So x is greater than or equal to 5. It's going to have a solid line. So we're going to have a solid line at 5. Okay. And now when we test it, we get 0 is greater than 5. That is not true. So that means where this test point is the false side. That means the other side is true. And we only want to shade the true side of the graph. All right. Whoops. I mean to do that. Okay. We are going to continue doing this, but now we have it in standard form. And in standard form, to be able to graph it, you need to find the x and y intercepts. And I'm going to write my work out so that you can see where I'm getting the numbers. But the second you figure out how to do this without writing it, I do not need you to write this all down. So the x-intercept occurs when y equals 0. So if I have this equation, I put 0 in for y, 3 times 0 is 0, that's going to go away. So I could just get 2x, and to make this work, I'm going to set it equal to -6. So if I solve that equation, I get -3. So my x-intercept is -3, 0. Now, because it's a less than sign, I'm going to have an open circle. So I'm going to have an open circle at -3, 0. Okay, now I need to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is when x equals 0. So if I plug in 0 for x, this part's going to go away. And now I get -3y equals -6. So y equals 2. So my y-intercept is 0, 2. Now, like I said, you should be able to do this in your head. This is not hard math. I just want you to see where I'm getting the numbers. So 0, 2 is right here. We're going to connect it with the dashed line. Now, when we do the test on this one, think about this. If I'm putting in 0 for x and 0 for y, this whole left side is going to be 0. So I have 0 is less than -6. Is that true? Is 0 less than a -1? No, that's false. So this is the false side where 0, 0 is, meaning this is the true side, and we're always going to shade the true side. All right, let's try this again. On the second one, we want to find our x and y intercepts. So the x-intercept is when y equals 0. So when y equals 0, that goes away. So I get 4x equals 8. So x is 2. So my x-intercept is 2, 0. And because it's less than or equal to, I'm going to have a solid point. Okay, when I go to do my y-intercept, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So if that, just kidding, I crossed out the wrong thing. So if that goes away, now I just have y equals 8. So my y-intercept is 0, 8. So I have a point right there. Connect the dots. And there's my line. Oops. Okay, but now if I go to test it, if I put 0 in for x and y, this whole part will be 0. So I get 0 is greater than or equal to 8. Okay, that is not true. That is false. So that means the point 0, 0 is on the false side. I don't want to shade the false side. I want to shade the side that is true. So I'm going to shade everything that is over here. Okay, last one. This one did not type well. So we're going to make this -3x plus 4y is less than 12. Okay, let's find our intercepts. So the x-intercept is when y goes away. So I get negative 3x equals 12. So x is negative 4. So my x-intercept is negative 4, 0. Here, because it's a less than, I've got open circles. The y-intercept is when x goes away. So I get 4y equals 12. So y equals 3. So my point is 0, 3. So I have a point here. And now I'm going to connect the dots. Okay, with a dashed line because it's a less than. So now when I go to do my test, I plug in 0 for both of these. So I get 0 is less than 12. That is true. So that means 0, 0 is on the true side. This is the false side, and we only want to shade the true side. So we are going to shade over there. Okay, you can now complete your homework and then turn it in before you leave.